Hello everyone, this is Chris Knott here at Reprogrammed. Today I'm going to be talking about the Smith machine lunge. One of my favorite applications on a Smith machine is the ability to really focus on correct form with a lunge position. So I've done other tutorials on the lunge itself. Again, if you haven't done my squat tutorial, the squat is the foundation for all lower body movements. We have to learn how to control the pelvis, we got to learn how to control the breath, we got to lock in the lats for the upper body. We've talked about different shin angles, different foot positions. So all that is covered in the squat tutorial. However, today I'm going to focus on the benefits of the Smith machine. Now, if you come to a Smith machine, which is a good probability because if you are one of my executives or again, one of my athletes who has to travel a lot of regular gyms are fortunate enough to have a Smith machine. It might be the only thing that you have in a gym along with some dumbbells. So it's a great option because you can do a lot of good exercises on the Smith machine. Again, it takes out the stability element so you can really focus on strength and you can focus on form. And it doesn't make it right or wrong. Again, we've talked about this before. When we want stability, go work stability. When we want strength, let's work strength. So they're both good tools if you understand the adaptation and the application that we're looking for. All right, so as I look at the Smith machine, this one is my preferred Smith machine in terms of it's on a vertical hinge. It's not one that has a 15-degree angle. Now I'm going to show you what to do with your lunges if you happen to be in a gym that doesn't have the vertical Smith and you are at that 15-degree angle. However, with the vertical, it doesn't matter what direction I face. I can face in and I can do my lunges in here like so. Okay. I can also face out in the same way. I can get my position and I can do my lunges. The only difference, of course, is which direction this bar is turning. If you like to be able to pull the bar back in position, which is usually what I recommend in this exercise, so any squat variation or lunge, it's a little bit more natural to pull the bar back to unhinge it. That way it's not banging in. But this is still the same. I can be in this position and I can rock it forward and do the exact same lunge. It really doesn't matter. Where it might matter is, of course, if let's say I wanted to do a rear leg elevated, let's say I want to use a roller or I want to use a bench where my back foot is elevated, which the cool thing is I can still do that in here because I don't have to worry about stability. If I came in here, took it off, set my foot, I can literally do the same single leg, rear leg elevated lunge because it's doing the balancing for me. However, I still recommend if you're doing that, having the back foot up because it's one less thing to think about where you can relax the hip and do the exercise. My point is that it really doesn't matter which direction you face. Now, based on if we want more of a glute dominant lunge or a quad dominant lunge, that's where the angle is going to matter in the direction that you face. So first, let me talk about that concept here with the regular lunge in the regular vertical Smith. So if I come in, let's talk about actual form. Just like our squat, I want to get my natural grip where I can lock in my lats. I'm going to come underneath the bar. As I get either my high bar or low bar position, I want to squat the weight up and then I want to move the feet. What I don't want you to do is get in the bad habit of coming into the bar like this with the staggered stance. I did that actually a minute ago, which was wrong because I was just jumping in here and I have no weight on the bar. If I have weight on the bar, I want you to get in the habit of feet are equal. So as I get my position, I control my pelvis, I load my breath, squeeze my butt, stand up with the bar. Now I'm going to adjust my feet. So let me turn around so you can see the front leg. As I come in here, same thing. I've got my lats locked in. I'm going to control my pelvis with my abs. I'm going to breathe in, squeeze my butt, stand up with the weight. Now we're going to adjust my feet. I always bring my front foot out, and I want my front foot in the position based on what I want to work. So if I'm working more glutes, I need to find that position where I have a vertical shin. So I've got a right angle here and a right angle here. Now, I'm going to be more into the glutes as I stand up. So I'm going to lunge down, stand up. My back leg, I'm going to kick back as far as I can so that, again, when I'm down, notice it's pretty much at a right angle here. Now, because I'm talking to you, I've got my knee down. I really don't want you to bang the knee on the floor. The stoppers, for me, This one, if I bring it up just one, I've hit the stopper, but I could go down a little bit further. So it's almost in between. But it's always good to have your stopper set so that if you do get stuck, I can just walk away and it's no big deal. If my stopper is lower, now my legs have to control it, but that's okay. Even if I get stuck here, I can still drop it and get out of here. What I don't want you to do is bang this knee on the ground. I want you to come down this close so you're almost hitting the ground, but you're not actually hitting the knee on the ground. Make sure that you're controlling the weight down. So as I get in this position, this leg is back, and what I don't want to do is press down and tighten this hip. So again, if you've done my iso lunge tutorial, you have learned that this back leg is driving back from the glute, and you're actually doing a slight leg curl, keeping it relaxed so that the front leg here is doing all of the work in the lunge. But with this vertical position, I'm going to be more in the glute. Now, if I bring my foot back, see how my knee is now out in the front. I haven't moved anything else, but now I'm going to drive the knee and I'm going to be in the quad because guess what? This bar doesn't move. I have changed myself relative to the bar, and by changing my shin angle, I'm going to change now into a quad focus as opposed to, again, there's a glute focus right there. If I bring my foot back, same movement, but the knee drives forward. Now I'm into the quad. So I can do that very simply because I'm on a vertical rack. Now imagine if this bar were angled in this forward angle at 15 degrees. So as I'm lunging down, if the bar's coming forward, it's naturally going to drive my knee forward. So what does that mean? If I want to work my quads, then I need to be on the angle that drives into the knee or into the quad. So again, I'm going to mimic here, even if I start with a vertical shin, but the bar's coming forward, see how it's driving me into my quad. So that's actually okay, but I am limited exactly by that 15-degree angle. Now, if I wanted my glutes, no matter how far forward, I can't do that correctly. So I would have to flip myself around, keep my foot out in front. So now I'm sitting back with that angle, which theoretically might pull my knee even behind, but that's not a big deal if I'm pulling from my hamstrings and driving up from my glute. So it's something to play around with. But here's the difference. Everyone's built a little differently. So if I have someone that's 5'5" and has a short torso, has a longer torso and short stubby legs, how they're going to bend might be different than someone like me who's 6'1" with a short torso and I have very long legs. So with a longer femur, and as it bends, I'm going to be more susceptible to that angle on a 15-degree incline. So that's why it's not my preference if I get to choose. But if you're at a gym and that's your only option, that doesn't matter because you now know what to do. If you're working your quads and we're going to drive, we're going to go with the angle. If I want to work my glutes, I turn around and now I'm sitting back into the angle with my glutes. So you can always make it happen. But if you have the vertical Smith machine, always choose the vertical Smith machine because now, no matter where I'm at, it doesn't matter. If I'm here, now I just came down, so I notice I'm in my quads. What can I do? I can shift, and I can now be in my glutes. If I really want to work my quads, I can bring my feet all the way back, and then I'm either limited by ankle flexibility, or if I have a heel wedge, I can actually bring my heel up, and now look at that quad position. You can see now I'm really into my quads. The Smith machine didn't change. I can change my angle based on the Smith machine if I want more or less quad, more or less glute. That's the cool thing about a Smith machine. Now I don't have to worry about balance or stability. I can just focus on position and get the desired outcome. So if you understand that, now you can start using Smith machines for its intended purpose. And then when it's time to go back to your stability exercises, your actual lunges, your walking lunges, your jumps, your plyometrics, now you'll have the strength, and then you can come back to the stability element just as well, but then combine them for a better overall outcome. There is your Smith machine lunge. Give it a shot.